Well, hello again, Steve here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole Inner Genie project and how I see it playing out in a way right now. Well, the coffee chat theme on improving the quality of our life experiences was sharing ideas along that line, right? And way back in the day when I used to do the coffee chat as a live forum, which, probably well in excess of 1,000 people attended over the years in the speakers forum and everything that we ran, at a certain point, I tried to encourage people to not only talk about what it is that they want to do to improve the quality of their lives, but to walk the talk, in other words, right? And at a certain point, we actually came up with a thing called Coffee Walk. And it was Sunday mornings, where I used to live. We had a beautiful river valley. And a bunch of us would get together, like 10 or a dozen or 6 or whatever, and we'd go for a walk. And it's a funny thing with walking, because it's there's a kinesthetic aspect to that. There's a different kind of an active conversation that can come out. And what we noticed was that people would pair up and we'd talk about all sorts of things and share ideas. But it was it was putting our talk into walk. Because part of the talk, actually, and where I come from in terms of the origins of this, is a health aspect of it. That's sort of the fundamental aspect of it. I used to be a fitness instructor, personal trainer years ago, and then from there I got into a weight loss program. It was called Flat Belly Feeling. I wrote a book called Optimum Health, which is out of print now, but you can find it if you look on some used bookstores. I think you can still find it. I plan to republish it at some point because I think it was a pretty good book. But I remember, just as along the lines of that, though, I remember, because a lot of times we have these blocks, we have mental blocks a lot of times for taking action, don't we? And this is just an idea, because after all, just let me go on a tangent here, let me rant for a minute. Because we see all kinds of people wanting to control us in this world, don't we? We see all kinds of fake news and fake whatever, and it's all about sucker us in to something somebody else wants, but not necessarily our best interest in mind, and usually not, for that matter. So the healthier we are of mind and of body, the more adept we are at being able to dodge the cons and so on, and be able to have the strength and the courage to live the lives of integrity that we really want, right? So, but these mental blocks are very real in terms of, well, they're not necessarily real, but they actually stop us, so they might as well be real, right? And one of the things I used to deal with when I was a personal trainer was I'd have people come up to me and they'd want to visit the gym and stuff like that, and I was working in a gym at the time. And they would have all these excuses, right? Because they don't have time, they can't do it, they got some sort of a condition, and they got, a sore this or a sore that. And a lot of times, sometimes these are real, but a lot of times they're fake, because, after all, a medical doctor, a lot of those people are pretty fake too. Came up with them, right? Came up with a worry, came up with a thing to feed them more drugs or something. And like I say, there's a caution to there, because lots of times that is true, but a lot of times it's not. And I've experienced that in my walk of 8,000 kilometers. I've realized that the body can really trick us into presenting physical manifestations of our thoughts, and we can break through those so that we can come into amazing experiences in life. So what I used to tell people is, look, if you don't think you have time, just try something very, very small, which is part of the step towards what you want. So they wanted to get into a fitness program, but they don't have time. All kinds of excuses. I say, okay, do you have time to put your shoes on in the morning? And what would they say? Of course they would say yes. Of course they have time, because that's what they do. I said, well, how about you try this? If you got a pair of walking shoes, put those shoes on and take them off first thing in the morning, and then go do what you usually do. Can you do that? And they say, well, yeah, of course I can. How the heck is that going to help me get in shape? I said, that's not the point right now. The process is, it's not going to get you in shape, but it might help the process of getting you mentally in shape. Do that for a week and come back to me and we'll talk again. So some would do it. Most of them I never hear from them again, because, hey, most people won't do anything, right? But some would. And if they would, then it would be like, oh wow, you're able to do that for a week. Okay, how about this? Do the same thing again, then step out the front door on the porch, the front door, look around, rain or shine, snow, sleet, mosquitoes, no matter what, step back in, take those shoes off, and go about your day. Well, how's that going to get me in shape? Well, rinse and repeat. It's the same as last week. It's another step to get you into a habit. That's it. That's what we have to do, is get ourselves into a habit, because we all have things that waste our time during the day, and hopefully this video is not one of them. And we can find time, we can displace things that are maybe not quite as important if we have the motivation to do what we want, right? To achieve something, to build ourselves up and become stronger mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever we want, right? So, and you can see where this is going. If they're willing to come back the following week, it'd be, hey, walk down to the end of the lane, country mile, you know, maybe not a country mile right away, but to pick up the mail, take the dog out for 5 minutes or whatever, and just do it religiously, right? And then after a while, that country mile will come. And then those people, once that would happen, once they would fit that habit in, all of a sudden they would come back with a glow on their face and say, hey, you know what? Now I'm walking way farther than I ever thought I could. And that is the beginning point, really. Because once somebody is self-motivated, they no longer need me, right? I was working myself out of a job. I didn't want people dependent on me. I wanted to educate them, and educate comes from within, right? And once that happens, the inner genie can pop out, right? And that's what this is about, I think, is finding ways to strengthen ourselves for troubled times and challenging times, which we all have in our lives ahead, don't we? Hey, once again, it was great chatting. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share this out, because it's a fairly new activity on this channel. And if you know anybody who's interested in becoming motivated, becoming stronger, becoming more enthusiastic about life, and freeing their inner genie, put them in touch with this channel. Let's have a chat. Talk again soon. Bye for now.